Hello mga Parkland and welcome to Parkland Pinoy Tambayan where we talk about relevant issues, interesting Canadian topics, and Pinoy life in Canada. And for this episode, let's get to know one of the candidates running for mayor, the incumbent for the upcoming municipal election here in the city of Yorkton. So please join with me with the discussion as we understand more about our guest and what are his plans and goals in relation to this coming election. So without further ado, let's go. And if you haven't done it yet and you're new to my channel and you're watching us through Facebook, drop us a like, drop us a follow, share this video so that more viewers can enjoy watching, and who knows, maybe they can benefit from the show too. And if you're watching us through YouTube, give us a thumbs up, subscribe the channel, and don't forget to ring the bell so you'll get notified once we post fresh videos for you or once we go live. Okay, and joining with the discussion, we have here one of the candidates running for city mayor for the upcoming municipal election here in the city of Yorkton. Please welcome Mr. Mitch Hippsley, or Mayor Mitch Hippsley. Good afternoon, Mr. Mayor.
Well, good afternoon. It's a pleasure to join you today. Thank you for having me on your program.
And it's truly a pleasure for us to have you. You know, we all know you're a busy guy, and first of all, we just want to thank you for taking this time to take a break from your busy schedule and join us with this discussion as we get to know you better and to have this opportunity for our viewers to understand more of your plans and goals with this coming election. So if it's okay with you, we can head on with the discussion. So first thing that our viewers would like to know about you is that can you just share to our listeners, our viewers, a little bit of background or a brief history of your time here with the city of Yorkton?
Well, thank you. I'm a Yorkton boy. I actually was born here, and I've lived here all my life. But, back in 2016, I saw an opportunity for change. And as a businessman for 40 years, you look at things a little differently because you need to. So having said that, I decided rather than, complaining, I guess, as we all can at times, I thought, well, maybe I can contribute to the city of Yorkton. So I put my name in 2016 for a councillor. And that was the biggest year that Yorkton's ever witnessed. And there was 24 different people running for 6 different positions. And I was elected as a councillor back in those days. So 4 years later, still seeing that there was opportunities for growth and for betterment, I decided rather than run for councillor, I would run for mayor.
Right.
And in 2020, I was voted as the mayor. So here I am 4 years later. In the blink of an eye, time flies. And I know there is so much more opportunity here. And we're really on the cusp of growth like we never have witnessed before. So there's things that are happening already
That's
that
true.
I want to see them through.
That's true. And so for the viewers to know you more better, so can you just share to our viewers too, what are some of your experience, like work experiences and even experiences in public service so that the people can understand more of you?
Sure. Well, of course, being in small business is a big plus because you meet so many different people, so many different organizations. And my working range was from Winnipeg, Manitoba to Victoria, BC. So I wasn't just stationed in Yorkton, Saskatchewan area. However, I see that as a real bonus being in a smaller community. But also, I was back in those days, there was the Yorkton Credit Union, not the Cornerstone Credit Union that evolved, became the Cornerstone Credit Union, but I was a board member of that. I was on our church board for a time being. I was also a judge as well as a platform speaker for the Professional Photographers of Canada for about 20 plus years. I attained my master's degree in the world of photography. I was also on the Saskatchewan Professional Association for many, many years, helping out with that whole organization. So quite a bit of experience, as well as just helping out my community, period.
Okay, that's good then. So, being an incumbent mayor now, and if you'll be elected back to office, then so the question of the viewers then is, what would be the, existing and even new projects or concerns that you would like to address on this next term?
Well, thank you for asking. That's a great question because, it's a loaded question because there's so many things I want to tell you first, but I got to start somewhere.
Yes.
Long story short, no one likes to see an increase in taxes. However, the reality of the world is inflation determines what happens to money and devaluates it. So I want to always be cautious on the efficiency of spending year after year after year. And I feel that our council has done that quite well, actually. And we're still working to find more efficiencies. However, if there's going to be an increase, we would like to allocate that increase to things like what's called infrastructure. So that's actually buildings and what happens underground, our water, our sewer, and so on. So what we're witnessing more and more user groups are coming to visit us, I guess, and ask for amenities in the way of what they can do for family, sports, user groups like that.
Right.
So we need to really look hard at what we can do because I'll give you some examples.
Please.
As you know, basketball has become huge with the Filipino community. It always was before we started getting more requests for it. Pickleball is huge.
That's
Badminton, volleyball. Where do I stop? We need more hockey availability,
exactly.
hockey service availability. So there's many things. So I would like to see our council really investigate the potential. Perhaps, could we build a steel box building, really minimal, and have it insulated, heat, and so on. Put in a multi-type flooring that we could maybe consider, that we could use because all the school gymnasiums are full. All over the city facilities are full.
Yeah.
So everyone is maxed right out. And it spills over into the small communities. And that's good for the small community. But really what I'm hearing is that we just don't have enough. And with the new cultures arriving, what's happened is there's also new needs arriving. So
that's
to
true.
Keep and retain people here, it's very important that we keep and create new facilities that are minimally in cost.
Yeah, and that is very nice to know that the municipality is really showing their concern about these needs, not only for the older community, but even especially for the younger community, to get them active with the sports and other community involvements, right?
Very much, and I'd like to add that I feel that we need to take a good look at what we have for the senior amenities because after all, they're the reason that we're here. I feel that there's opportunities there, whether they be programs in facilities that we already have or make more time available and space available for them. I don't know what that looks like, but that is something that needs to be investigated.
Right, I agree with you. Okay, so how about in addressing issues, we can say probably recurring problems or issues, not only here in Yorkton, but even in other towns and cities too, like problems like drug-related problems, crime, and even mental health, and even homelessness issues. If elected back as mayor, what would be your projects or plans, or if there's any plans, what would be your ways then to strengthen this, and how would you strengthen also the communication between the municipal government and the provincial government in addressing these concerns?
Well, excellent question. Thank you for asking that because I'll tell you a bunch of things. First of all, it is a provincial matter, but being people in Yorkton, we witness and see the real people. We call them boots. We're boots on the ground people. We're the ones that will bump into them at the local grocery store, the gas station, or whatever. So we are witnessing and speaking to them and trying to help them at this level. So that being said, I do feel, and I hate to use the word COVID here, but it's almost like it added gasoline to the fire that was already burning. And it also tipped the scales for many people who were holding on, and they were okay. They could function.
Right.
And then that was just enough to put them over. So since 2020, we've seen a real change happen in our country, in our province, and in our city. And with that came the mental health and addictions, as well as houselessness, as we call it.
Right.
So going back to that, we saw this coming a couple of years ago, and we started investigating what can we do? Because let us not forget, these are still people.
Right.
So, I mean, we can't discard them. We need to step up and help. And how do we help? That's what we're working on right now.
Right.
So we have big hearts, and we're a small community, and the smaller the community, the bigger the heart.
Right.
So we're fortunate that we can actually see the people, talk with the people.
Right.
Our fire chief, Mr. Trevor Morrissey, has been working with many of the houselessness people. And we have what's called a protective services committee that we meet every month. We sit down and we say, here's what's happening. Here's what's going on. So we're trying to address that, because with winter coming now, the people that maybe were comfortable, with their own way of or places to sleep or whatever, will not be comfortable when it's 40 below weather. So what do you do? So we're working on that very much.
Right.
But we deal with this almost on a daily basis at City Hall. We have a phone call, we have a visitor, we have something. So we know about it, and we're trying to handle what to do. In fact, back to our fire chief, he actually just returned from Ottawa for a national symposium on this very topic. As well as, I just want to apprise one more thing, and that is, in 2020, when COVID was going on, us City Mayors Caucus, known as the Mayors Caucus, the 16 cities in the province of Saskatchewan, we would meet every week on the phone and discuss what's going on in our community, because we didn't know what was going on. The future was so uncertain.
Right.
But as we were discussing, we kept on, the topic of mental health and addictions kept coming up. It's getting worse and worse and worse in everyone's community. What did we do? So we realized the importance of it, and we created what's called a working group. And in that working group, we had 5 city mayors step to the table: Saskatoon, Regina, Humboldt, Yorkton, and Melville. There might have even been one. Oh, yes, and there was also Martinsville, or Warman, pardon me. So we started meeting, and I was given the privilege of being the chair of that. And that very committee is now just coming up to 3 years old, and I'm still the chairman. So we still meet and discuss very serious items, and we also attract other organizations that are trying to do the very same thing. So collectively, we gather data, information, we talk a lot, we find out lots that we didn't know, and collectively we go to our province, and with the help of SUMA is the Saskatchewan Urban Municipalities Association. Well, they are advocating for us. They take this information and they go to the government. The government hears what we have to say quite loud and clear. So they are on our side, and we know we got to help, because it's way better to fix the problem rather than try to address it after it's too late.
That is correct. And I agree with you, Mr. Mayor. In order for us to truly address these recurring issues and problems, we need to work together. Not only as a community, as a city, but also work with other towns and cities hand in hand, like in a collaboration, to be able to address all these issues and concerns.
I 100% agree with you.
Yeah.
Yes.
Right. Okay. So one more thing, though, I would like to ask to know, with the many businesses expanding here in Yorkton, because I don't know, I'm sure everybody kind of noticed too. There was expansion going on around the LDC area there, the Louis Dreyfus community. They're expanding, most probably around a year ago, when grain millers did their expansion too. No, so with this expansion, do you think it's going to be a concern with either be housing or apartments? No, there is a need, do you think, for when people start coming to Yorkton as the city of Yorkton keeps growing? Do you think it's going to be a concern then in the future, in the next few years, then when people start coming to work and live in Yorkton?
Yes, another fantastic question, and I'm even reluctant to tell you the situation that we're already in. So when we talk to the real estate organizations, they have told us that under normal circumstances, we usually have somewhere between 225 and 280 potential places that you could buy or live in. Well, that number has decreased to the approximation of about only 60, which is very concerning because even CMHC, who follows all the housing in the province,
Right.
has told us we have now dipped from a 3% level, which is already concerning, to now 2%. So what I'm really saying is, yes, we already have a problem. That's what I'm
Right.
trying to get out.
Right.
So with that, we, as the city council, have developed something to encourage house builders. And with that, we kept evolving it. And now anyone can actually come to City Hall and look at, we have about 72 city-owned and serviced properties for sale. If we own them, we can sell them.
Perfect.
So right now, we went 50% off, which is our normal rates for the last 5 years. We didn't change the prices on them because we want to help the people who are building offset their building costs.
Right.
And that's been the problem. But if they do that, they will also, if they build their house, they will also get 5 years free of tax abatement.
Wow.
So if you
That's
do the
nice.
math of what the discount on the lot and also the 5 years, it can be anywhere between $60,000 to $100,000 of savings, depending on the lot you buy and the taxes. So that is a help. It's not going to fix all of the problem, but it encourages people, let's get building, and we've got lots of properties.
Wow.
So, and we also are very fortunate. Right now, we've got 2 developers looking to build apartments in Yorkton.
Very nice.
That's brand new. Nothing's been inked yet.
Right.
So this is just the starting points of a conversation of interest. So we're crossing our fingers as well. But you are correct. We need to retain people. We need to have places for them to live.
Right, exactly. And yeah, I agree with you. The only way we can actually attract more people to come in, because it's inevitable with the hospital now, there's increased need for more healthcare professionals to come into our place. So definitely there is a huge need to accommodate them if we are to grow, we are to expand as a city.
Yes, you are correct. I agree.
Okay. Before I let you go, Mr. Mayor, I know you're a very, very busy man. Just one last question.
Yes.
Okay. And this last question I would like to ask with you is, what would you do to improve transparency? To maintain that transparency, to maintain the public's trust between the municipal government and the public.
The public. Well, first of all, we, by the Cities Act, which is designated by the province, if something has to do with property or personnel or land, we cannot talk openly because of the confidentiality of how might affect that person in a negative way or an actual transaction in a negative way. That has not been controlled by us. That's the province protecting the province and the cities. So that being said, we have to separate that out of the picture.
That's true.
Transparency, we've gone way out of our way to spend a lot of money on communication through our website and also through Facebook and all of the social media. So we always invite people, please come to City Council. Every City Council meeting is recorded, and that doesn't mean you have to be there to hear it. You can go back on any City Council and listen to what we have to say. Right. But we find that more often than not, what happens is there's pieces of the valuable information that are left out and misunderstood. And people, unfortunately, rather than call one of the councillors or call the mayor, myself, or whatever, we ask, contact us. We're more than happy to sit down with you and explain. Bring a few people with you so that you have witnesses to the conversation. But that seems to be a problem. I do feel that when it comes to budget time, though, there were opportunities that maybe we can say, let's talk openly about what we're thinking about. Because after a particular meeting that was what we call in camera, which is ironic because it's not in camera, it's the opposite.
That's right.
After the meeting was over, I reflect back and go, that one could have been out in the public eye. So I hope to see more transparency
Right.
in that regard. But there is a bit of a misconception out there that we're not transparent, because I have to say that this council that we've just had, we're just finishing up, has been one of the most dynamic,
Wow.
expressive councils that we've had,
Wow.
that is quick to talk to the public. So we're not a closed community like maybe some people think we are.
Wow, yeah, and I agree with you with the rise of technology now, with the rise of interaction through social media. I'm sure town hall meetings would be much possible, can be more frequent with the use of the social media technology.
I agree. And those town hall meetings, awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. I'd like to see at least one a year. We've tried them, and it's interesting. We don't get the turnout that we thought we would have, because that's what they're for. Is people can voice their opinion
Exactly.
out loud and get the information
Right.
clear.
That's right.
So
I agree.
we're hoping that we can reinvent that, I guess, and get more involvement,
That's
because
right.
there are a lot of great people out there that do want to get involved more, and we invite them, because after all, we're all in this together. This is community, and this is what
That
we
is
do.
true. That is true. Yeah, I agree. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, for joining with our discussion and sharing to our viewers your answers on some of the important and pressing questions and concerns of our viewers. And before we wrap up our discussion, would you like to invite our viewers to come out and vote this November?
Yes, please do. Two things. The first thing is I want to thank you from the bottom of my heart, the entire Filipino community, because you have helped build the city of Yorkton. And I sincerely mean that. I don't know where we would be without you. You're hardworking, respectful, wonderful people, and always got open arms, and you're welcoming. So thank you for being here. And back to your question. Yes. So I've got my solicitation notes, which I won't read to you, but the final day for voting is November the 13th,
Okay.
and that is at the Gallagher Center. You go to one place, and what may have confused a few people is just recently we had the provincial election, so there was many voting places to go to.
Exactly.
Yes. So for the city, no. On
Just
November
one.
the 13th, there's one.
There's
It's
one.
the Gallagher Center.
Just the
So
Gallagher
if
Center.
If you've lived in Saskatchewan for 6 months,
Mm-hmm.
if you've lived in Yorkton for 3 months of that 6, and if you're a Canadian citizen, and even if you're not on the list, you can sign a declaration when you go to the Gallagher Center to vote
Yeah.
and claim, and because it's factual that
Right.
you qualify for that, and you will be given a ballot, and then you can vote. Now that's November the 13th.
Right.
On November the 5th, you can actually go down to York Road. We call it the City Operations Building, and do a drive-through voting. So
Drive-through
if
voting.
you're busy on the 13th, you have another opportunity as well.
So, so you said there, it's only going to be at the Gallagher Center, correct?
Correct.
Right.
Yeah, on the 13th of November. That'll be the big day that, of course, pretty much everyone comes to vote. It starts at 8 or 9 a.m. It goes till 8 p.m. 8 p.m. is the closing time on November the 13th.
Okay. So one more concern that the Filipino community would like to ask then is,
Please do.
do we need to bring, because you mentioned, you just mentioned like a minute ago, if you live in Saskatchewan for more than 6 months, right? Do we need to bring IDs? Do we require to bring some IDs to confirm that we do live here more than 6 months? Do we need to bring any billing papers then, just to show that we live in Yorkton or something like that?
Very good point that I neglected, and I apologize for that. Bring along your driver's license, which proves that you live in the actual city with a street address that says where your home is, and that'll be your best identification, because it is a professional, official registration.
Okay. So, Mr. Mayor, so you mentioned about coming out to vote this coming the 13th of November. There a pre-voting before that?
There
Yes.
is actually.
Yes.
There is. So what is the first is there is drive-through voting November the 5th at the City Operations Building. Now that's the big new building down on York Road.
Mm.
And it's very simple the way you enter. You enter from the east side, you'll see arrows and you'll be guided through. So that is one way to vote.
Mm-hmm.
Then on the 7th of November, there's advance voting at the Gloria Hayden Center.
Oh.
And again, you will see many signs there.
Right.
So you will be guided right into how do you go about
Right.
that, because some people leave and go away for winter or just not available on the 13th. So it
Right.
makes it very convenient.
Right.
The big voting day will be November the 13th, and that is at the Gallagher Center only.
Okay.
Now, on the provincial election, there was many places to vote on the final day. For the city, there is not. There's just one on
Just
November
one.
13th. And again, Gallagher Center.
Gallagher
I
Center.
believe it starts at 9 a.m. Might be 8 a.m., but 9 a.m. for sure. But it does close at 8 p.m.
Okay.
Absolutely for sure the polls close.
Okay.
So I invite and encourage everyone, please get your vote in and speak how you feel. You know,
Right.
that's your opportunity, democracy in action, so to speak. And if you know if you can vote or not, here's 3 things you need to know. Have you lived in Saskatchewan for 6 months? Do you have a Canadian resident card? Are you a citizen of Canada, in other words? And have you lived in Yorkton for 3 months of the 6 that you've been in Saskatchewan? And the best way to prove that is bring along your driver's license.
Right.
And on your driver's license, it's not only your picture, it's also the address of where you live.
Perfect. Okay. So for the 7th, because you mentioned on the 13th, the voting will be open, let's say, as early as 8 or 9 till 8 in the evening. Will it be
Yes.
the same also for the drive-through on the 5th and the early one on the 7th? Is it going to be open till
As
8?
Yes, as I understand it, those are the same hours.
Perfect.
I hope I'm right on that one.
Okay.
But, you know, get there as soon as you can.
Right.
Drive-through will be very quick. So, you know, and the advance will be quick. It's made for people to get in and get out and make it easy. So, you know, don't wait till the last minute.
Okay. Okay, so there you have it, mga KaParkland. Incumbent Mayor Mitch Hippsley running for re-election this coming November 13th municipal election here in Yorkton. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, for accommodating us despite your busy time. And thank you very much.
Oh, you're very welcome. Thank you very much. It's been a privilege joining you on your program. And I've really enjoyed the questions and having a good visit with you.
Okay, thank you.
All the best to you.
And all the best to you too, Mr. Mayor. Again, thank you very much, mga KaParkland, for joining with me. On behalf of our guests here, this is Kuya Jobert. Until next episode, stay safe everyone, and God bless.
God bless. Thank you.